The metallic tang of blood mingles with desert sage in the morning air. Not human blood, something else. Something wrong. Sheriff Jake Morrison crouches beside the overturned stagecoach, his weathered fingers tracing the splintered wood. The silence presses against his eardrums like cotton stuffed too tight. No buzzards circle overhead. No coyotes howl in the distance. Even the wind holds its breath. Deadwood Valley, Arizona Territory. September 1887. The coach lies on its side like a wounded animal, one wheel still spinning lazily in the dust. Jake's boots crunch on scattered glass as he circles the wreckage. The horses are gone, cut loose, not killed. Professional work. Sheriff. Deputy Tom Brennan's voice cracks across the emptiness. You need to see this. Jake straightens, his knees protesting. 43 years old and feeling every day of it. The sun climbs higher, painting the red rocks the color of dried blood. Inside the overturned coach, a single white glove lies pristine against the torn velvet seat. Too clean. Too perfect. Jake lifts it carefully, silk, expensive, with tiny pearl buttons that catch the light like tears. A woman's glove. But the passenger manifest listed only men. Tom, who was supposed to be on this run? 3 miners heading to Tucson. Old Peak Garrison. And Tom checks his notes. Samuel Hartwell, the banker from Phoenix. Jake turns the glove over. Embroidered on the inner wrist, almost invisible, E.M. The initials burn into his memory like a brand. His chest tightens. After 15 years, that particular combination of letters still stops his heart. Sheriff? You look like you've seen a ghost. Jake pockets the glove. Maybe I have. The old Hartwell Ranch sits 3 miles north of the crash site, abandoned for over a decade. Jake rides alone, leaving Tom to secure the scene. The adobe walls still stand, but the roof has caved in places, letting the desert reclaim what was once a home. He dismounts at the well. The rope is new, too new for a place that's been empty this long. Someone's been here recently. Elizabeth. The name whispers through his mind like wind through broken glass. Elizabeth Hartwell. The banker's daughter who left Deadwood Valley on a spring morning in 1872, promising to return when the railroad came through. I'll wait for you forever, she had whispered against his neck, her breath warm and desperate. But I have to go. Papa says there's nothing for me here. Jake had been 28 then, deputy to Sheriff Coleman, with dreams bigger than his badge and a heart full of promises he couldn't keep. She'd been 19, beautiful as a desert sunrise, and engaged to a man in San Francisco her father had chosen. The well rope creaks in the wind. Jake peers down into the darkness. Something glints at the bottom, not water. Metal. You're chasing shadows, Morrison? Mayor Caldwell's voice booms across the sheriff's office like thunder before a storm. That stagecoach was robbed by the Mendoza gang. Everyone knows it. Jake doesn't look up from the wanted posters spread across his desk. No bodies, Caldwell. No blood. And the Mendoza boys don't leave calling cards. He slides the white glove across the desk. Caldwell's face goes pale. Where did you find this? Inside the coach. Along with this. Jake produces a small silver locket, tarnished with age. Inside, a photograph of a young woman with dark eyes and a sad smile. Pulled it from the well at the old Hartwell place. Caldwell's hands shake as he reaches for the locket. Elizabeth's been dead for 10 years, Jake. Consumption took her in San Francisco. Samuel told me himself. Then explain the glove. Explain why someone's been using that well. I don't have to explain anything to you. Caldwell's voice turns hard. You're letting old ghosts cloud your judgment. Drop this investigation. The territorial marshal is sending someone to handle the robbery. Jake stands slowly, his hand resting on his gun belt. Since when do you take orders from territorial marshals, Caldwell? And since when do you care more about jurisdiction than justice? The mayor's eyes dart toward the window, then back to Jake. Some things are better left buried, Sheriff. For everyone's sake. That night, Jake returns to the Hartwell Ranch. The moon hangs full and bright, casting everything in silver and shadow. He brings rope and a lantern, determined to explore the well properly. 20 feet down, his boots hit solid ground. The well is dry, has been for years. But in the corner, hidden behind loose stones, he finds a leather satchel wrapped in oilcloth. Inside, letters. Dozens of them, tied with a blue ribbon. All addressed to Jake Morrison, Deadwood Valley. All in Elizabeth's handwriting. All unopened. His hands tremble as he reads the first one, dated 6 months after she left. Asterisk, my dearest Jake, I write this from my sickbed in San Francisco. The doctors say I have consumption, but I know the truth. I'm dying of a broken heart. Papa lied to you. I never married. I never could. I'll wait for you forever, just as I promised. Asterisk. The second letter, dated a year later. Asterisk, I'm coming home, my love. The doctors were wrong. I'm stronger now. Papa doesn't know. I've saved enough money for the journey. Look for me when the autumn leaves turn. Asterisk. Jake's vision blurs. 15 years of letters. 15 years of a woman trying to come home to a man who thought she was dead. The last letter is dated 3 days ago. Asterisk, I'm on the Phoenix stage, Jake. I'm finally coming home. I know you probably think I'm dead. Papa made sure of that. But I'm alive and I'm done waiting. I'm done being afraid. If you still love me, meet me at our place by the creek. If not, I'll understand. But I had to try. I'll wait for you forever. E**. Jake climbs out of the well with the letters clutched to his chest. His mind races. Elizabeth is alive. She was on that stagecoach. And someone who knew she was coming, made sure she disappeared. Hoofbeats echo across the desert. Multiple riders moving fast. Jake blows out his lantern and presses against the adobe wall. 6 men on horseback circle the ranch house. In the moonlight, Jake recognizes Mayor Caldwell's distinctive white stallion. The other riders wear bandanas over their faces, but their posture is wrong for outlaws. Too disciplined. Too organized. Search the place. Caldwell's voice carries on the night air. If Morrison found anything, I want it destroyed. What about the woman? Another voice asks. She's secure. But if Morrison keeps digging? Caldwell's voice drops. Well, accidents happen. Even to sheriffs. Jake's blood turns to ice. They have Elizabeth. And they're planning to kill him. Jake waits until the riders leave, then searches the ranch house by moonlight. In what was once Elizabeth's bedroom, he finds it, a loose floorboard that gives way under pressure. Beneath the floor, a hidden compartment containing a leather-bound ledger and a stack of official documents. The ledger details 15 years of embezzlement from the Deadwood Valley Bank. Hundreds of thousands of dollars, stolen systematically and funneled through fake accounts. The documents are even more damning. Forged death certificates, bribed doctors, falsified records. All bearing one signature, Samuel Hartwell, Elizabeth's father. The truth hits Jake like a physical blow. Hartwell had been stealing from his own bank for years. When Elizabeth threatened to return and expose his crimes, she'd always been too smart, too observant. He faked her death to keep her away. When that failed, when she finally came home anyway. Jake's hands shake as he reads the final document. A will leaving everything to Elizabeth Hartwell, dated the day before the stagecoach robbery. Her father had died of a heart attack in Phoenix, leaving her his fortune and his secrets. Someone else had taken over the conspiracy. Someone with the power to command men and the authority to silence a sheriff. Mayor Caldwell. Jake rides hard toward town, the ledger and letters secured in his saddlebags. The pieces fall into place like dominoes. Caldwell hadn't just been covering for Hartwell, he'd been his partner. When the banker died and Elizabeth inherited everything, including evidence of their crimes, she became a threat that had to be eliminated. But as Jake crests the hill overlooking Deadwood Valley, he sees smoke rising from the sheriff's office. Orange flames lick at the windows. His heart sinks. Tom Brennan sits on a horse outside the burning building, his deputy's badge glinting in the firelight. When he sees Jake approaching, he draws his gun. I'm sorry, Sheriff. I really am. Jake's world tilts. Tom, his deputy, his friend, the young man he'd trained and trusted, points a Colt .45 at his chest. How long? Jake's voice comes out as a whisper. Since the beginning. Caldwell recruited me fresh out of the academy. Good pay, easy work. Just looked the other way when certain shipments came through town. And Elizabeth? Tom's face hardens. She should have stayed dead. Where is she, Tom? Safe. For now. Tom's gun never wavers. Caldwell wants to make a deal. You disappear, take a job in California, maybe Mexico, and the girl lives. Keep digging and... He shrugs. Accidents happen. Jake's mind races. He could run. Take the money Caldwell would surely offer, start over somewhere else. Elizabeth would live even if they never saw each other again. It would be the safe choice. The smart choice. But it would also mean letting Caldwell and his conspirators continue stealing from the people of Deadwood Valley. It would mean abandoning his oath, his duty, everything he'd sworn to protect. What's it gonna be, Sheriff? Jake looks at the burning office, at the badge on Tom's chest, at the gun pointed at his heart. 15 years ago, he'd let Elizabeth leave without fighting for her. He'd chosen duty over love, safety over truth. Not again. I need to see her first. Need to know she's really alive. Tom considers this. 1 hour. Then you decide. They ride to the old silver mine on the outskirts of town. Jake's heart pounds as they descend into the tunnels, Tom's gun pressed against his back. Lantern light flickers off the walls, casting dancing shadows that seem to mock his hopes. In a chamber deep underground she waits. Elizabeth. 15 years older, her dark hair streaked with silver, lines around her eyes that speak of sorrow and strength. But still beautiful. Still the woman who'd whispered promises in his ear on a spring morning that feels like yesterday. She's chained to the wall, but her eyes burn with defiance. Jake. Her voice breaks on his name. I knew you'd come. I'm sorry, he whispers, kneeling beside her. I'm so sorry I didn't know. I thought you were dead. Papa made sure of that. Her fingers brush his cheek. But I never stopped loving you. Never stopped waiting. Tom clears his throat. Touching reunion. Now, Sheriff, what's your decision? Jake stands slowly, his hand moving toward his gun. I've made my choice. Smart man. Caldwell will be. Jake spins and draws in one fluid motion. His Colt barks once, twice. Tom's gun flies from his hand as the deputy stumbles backward, clutching his shoulder. You always were too trusting, Tom. More footsteps echo in the tunnel. Caldwell's voice booms from the entrance. Morrison. I know you're down there. Come out peaceful and the woman lives. Jake checks his ammunition. 4 bullets left. He looks at Elizabeth, sees the fear and hope warring in her eyes. Can you ride? He whispers as he works at her chains with Tom's keys. I've been waiting 15 years to ride out of here with you. The chains fall away. Jake hands her Tom's gun. Stay behind me. When I say run, you run. Not without you. Elizabeth. I said I'd wait for you forever, Jake Morrison. That includes today. They emerge from the mine together, Jake's arm around Elizabeth's waist, both guns drawn. Caldwell waits with 5 men, all armed, all ready. You're outnumbered, Morrison. Be smart about this. I am being smart. Jake's voice carries across the desert air. Smart enough to know that ledger you're looking for? I already sent copies to the territorial marshal, the governor, and the newspaper in Phoenix. Your little empire is finished, Caldwell. It's a bluff, but a good one. Caldwell's face goes white. You're lying. Am I? Want to bet Elizabeth's life on it? For a moment, nobody moves. The desert wind whistles through the rocks. A hawk circles overhead, crying its lonely song. Then Caldwell draws. The gunfight is brief and brutal. Jake's first shot takes down the man to Caldwell's left. Elizabeth's bullet finds the gunman on the right. The remaining men scatter for cover behind the rocks. Jake and Elizabeth move as one, 15 years of separation melting away in the heat of battle. They fight like partners who've never been apart, covering each other, moving with instinctive trust. When the smoke clears, Caldwell lies in the dust, his white shirt stained red. The surviving gunmen have fled into the desert. 3 months later, Jake and Elizabeth stand on the porch of the rebuilt sheriff's office. The territorial marshal has come and gone, taking statements and evidence. The stolen money has been recovered and returned to the bank's depositors. Tom Brennan sits in a cell awaiting trial. He'll live, but his career in law enforcement is over. Do you regret it? Elizabeth asks, her hand in his. Staying here instead of running? Jake looks out over Deadwood Valley, the town he's sworn to protect, the people who depend on him, the woman who waited 15 years for him to choose love over fear. Never, he says and means it. She smiles, the same smile that captured his heart all those years ago. Good. Because I meant what I said. What's that? I'll wait for you forever. She kisses him softly. But I'd rather not have to. Jake laughs, the sound echoing across the desert like a promise finally kept. In the distance, a train whistle blows. The railroad has finally come to Deadwood Valley, just as Elizabeth always said it would. Some promises are worth waiting for. Some loves are worth fighting for. And some truths are worth dying for. Jake Morrison has learned the difference. When a sheriff discovers his supposedly dead first love is alive and in danger, he must choose between his safety and his oath to protect the truth, no matter the cost. Hey there, Western fans. If you enjoyed this tale of love, betrayal, and justice in the Old West, make sure to hit that subscribe button and ring the notification bell. Next week, we're diving into another untold story from the frontier, the preacher's last stand, where a man of God must choose between his vows and his vengeance. You won't want to miss it, ***.